In Unity, we teach that heaven and hell are states of consciousness. We teach that they are available to us all the time. And in fact, if we really look into the human condition and the spiritual condition, we can probably all admit we've been to both places. So then, in the same day, yeah, same day, same year. Good addition there. So what is ours to do? If we know that heaven is an aspect of consciousness that is available in every moment, and we know that this was the gift of the master teacher, was to give us that awakening, that we and God are one, that there is a full connection, that there is full unity of all life, that we are in fact not separate, but that it is ours to wake up to this truth, to see the underlying patterns, to see the underlying support, and to know that there is a deep connection of all life, in all life, through all life, and for all life. Then what is ours to do? If we know that's the truth, and that's a spiritual reality, how do we go about creating peace? John Lennon wrote the song Imagine out of a vision in his heart, a vision for the gift of humanity, to be gifted to humanity, knowing that we are worth more than this. As we were just sitting down in the front, John and I just did a little chit-chat, and he said, this song was written before these kids were born, before these young ones were born. And he said, it may have been written before you were born. So how long has peace been a vision in the heart of humanity? And how long are we going to beat ourselves up for this human condition that we see around us that doesn't always demonstrate peace? And what can we do about it? Well, in Unity, we practice the season of Advent. We practice it as a sacred season of awakening, an awakening to our true self, an awakening to the birth of the Christ that is not just about Jesus the Christ that demonstrated God consciousness so many years ago, but pointed to your awakening and the birth of your divine self, and said that birth of your divine self is the birth in all of humanity. That great awakening. So we take the season of Advent as a season of transformation, mindfulness, and awakening, so that it comes out of the books, it comes out of 2,000 years ago, and it becomes active right here and right now. It's a daunting task to think about creating peace in the world, isn't it? I mean, if you sit in your seat, in your home, in your own consciousness, and you think, well, okay, I want to create peace on earth. I want to create heaven on earth. I believe that this is our divine birthright. I believe that this is at the core of our being. I believe that this is possible. Think about John Lennon sitting and writing this song so long ago. The beauty of unity is that we don't see the world as something where we're here to manipulate outer circumstances, to start chiseling away and changing other people around us so that they fit our vision of what peace looks like, so that they fit our vision of what we think humanity needs and needs to be in a moment. The beauty of the unity practice is that we take the camera of life and we turn it towards ourselves. And we say, what is mine to do? What can I really, truly do as a practice and as a being to not just create peace, but to start with being peace, to truly start with being peace. Last Sunday, we talked about faith and hope and where we find it. That, in fact, if we were to see through spiritual vision, faith and hope, it's all around us. That when we can see the interconnectedness of all life, hope is a natural byproduct of that spiritual vision. Peace is a natural byproduct of an open, centered, and grounded heart. Peace is a natural byproduct of an open and grounded and centered heart. Hypatia Hasbrook, in her book, The Trip to Bethlehem, said, our relationship with God is already established. For though we are in material bodies, we are spiritual beings, each designed to give individualized expression to the Christ. The urge to express the spiritual image of God in which we are created is a spiritual urge, she says, not necessarily confined to followers of any particular religion. The urge is the God energy pressing towards manifestation. We may call the urge the purpose of God. Created to express the image of God, we are created to be God's co-workers as we participate in the creation of ourselves. In other words, the seventh day of creation has not yet arrived. God has not yet rested. God is still at work helping us to do our part. When we deliberately undertake the trip to our spiritual Bethlehem, we respond to the purpose of God, so we may set out confidently, knowing that we are called according to God's purpose. God helps and guides us when we commit to live the Christmas story and take our transformative trip to Bethlehem. If anyone thinks that doing your own spiritual work is not enough, go ahead and try to attempt to do someone else's. Go ahead and try to get someone else to change into your idea of how they should show up and operate. Go ahead and start preaching and teaching and telling people how to live their own spiritual practice, how to live their own individual life, how to direct their love or direct their mind or direct their energy to anything. Go ahead and try. And find that you will not be creating peace, but you will be creating what? Chaos, discord, disconnection, argument, resistance with what is. Because truly, spiritual transformation is birthed from the inside out, is it not? Truly, we are each uniquely designed, unrepeatable patterns of God expressing. And the only one can do our work is us. That's the only one who can show up and be us in transformation, in evolution, in shift, in consciousness. So this Christmas story is our story, and this Sunday is about peace, and it's not about trying to complete the task that has been in the minds and the hearts of so many to make peace happen on the planet. It has to do with getting so deeply connected with the peace that you already are, the peace that is independently existent and everywhere present, getting so tuned into that peace that it is so strong within you that it goes before you, and from that place it does works that you could not even imagine, and you will probably never even realize. One of my favorite things about the holiday season is getting conscious. This is one way that we can create peace from the inside out, but one of my favorite things is looking at creative ways of giving. And a few of my favorite ways of giving are creating an experience, gifting an experience rather than material things that'll go into a landfill, but gifting an experience. I learned that from my dad. One of my other favorite things is to start thinking of other creative ways to give, like supporting organizations that I love. Like I get my niece and my nephew's little animals from the World Wildlife Federation because they can get like a little polar bear or something like that, and they get a little adoption certificate. But instead of spending money on something that is not going to be with them, in honor of them and in their name, I created a future that I want to have for them. I created the possibility that those polar bears will be cared for, that there is an organization that does work that I can't do, and I prospered that as I gave them something. So they give a little stuffed animal as you give to this organization. So creating conscious connections and conscious giving. I think that's one of the beauties of the season, is that we have the opportunity to either shop for a bunch of stuff that's going to be in a landfill or that's going to really say nothing, or we can have an impact. What's your favorite magazine? What's a magazine that gives you hope? I have a couple of them. Ode, Utne, Mother Earth. I have a few magazines that when I read them, it's like I have hope. When I read those technology and advancement magazines, I look at them and I go, oh, there's so much intelligence. There's more than enough. They have those for little kiddos too, different ones that teaches them about animals and teaches them about resources. What are the conscious giving examples that we can step into? Can we also be creative in looking at how we can reduce, reuse, recycle, and do that through our creative energies and start making things that make a different future? Can we use this time of giving to do an inventory of how we give and how we show up? And can we make sure that our giving is aligned with our values? really aligned with our values? Can we make sure that our giving is like a tuning fork, transforming something, creating that which we want to see prosper? One thing that you might not be aware of when tuning in to how you give, one thing that you might not know, because it's not readily available for you to see, is what you give by sitting in this sanctuary, what you give by live streaming, and what you give by contributing to Unity Village Chapel. Do you realize that because you show up here in this sanctuary, you make a sacred space for people that may be in places where they are not experiencing peace? They may be coming into this sanctuary or tuning in with us on live stream with heaviness in their heart, with discord in their mind, with a sense of separation or lack or anxiety or a feeling of unworthiness or disconnectedness that you may never hear about. But because you're here, because you are creating in this consciousness, because you show up thinking you're doing it for yourself, you may be saving a life. You may be giving someone the greatest gift that will serve them till the end of time. You are participating in the butterfly effect. You are participating in creating a wave of love and a wave of consciousness that serves peace being available in our world. Do you recognize that by being here, you join with me, you create this possibility that I can share who I am, and like a tuning fork, in some miraculous way that helps other people. You do that by showing up. If you were to not show up, we wouldn't co-create this. It wouldn't be possible. And this happens in Unity centers throughout the world. People may think they're just coming here and there, just dropping in, just putting a little in, just showing up a little hi, hello. Can you really tune in to the gift that you are by being in the Unity movement? You create a whole generation of young people that learn the teachings that we are born blessed, that learn that they don't need to be saved. In fact, God is love, and they were saved before they were even created because they are so beautifully and wondrously known in the mind of God that nothing they could do could put them out of favor. You're giving that gift to our young ones. You're creating a generation of children that learn God is love, that they're of that love. You're creating an environment for our young ones to learn the techniques of going directly to headquarters, so that no thing that anyone tells them, no judgment that anyone in the outside world puts upon them can filter in or be stronger than their own ability to tune into the source of their being. You're grounding that on a deep, deep level. Do you feel good about that gift that you're giving? And it radiates like a tuning fork out in their lives and in the lives of everyone they're around. You're here in consciousness, creating a field of vibration so that when someone moves to a new city, wherever they are, they can be connected with a Unity community. If there's a place where there's no unity at all, they can live stream with us, and we have individuals and communities that do that because you're here. A Christmas gift that you don't even realize you give every single Sunday. Can you really tune into the power of that? Really, really tune into that. I give that. Me, sitting here in this seat, I give that gift. It is a byproduct of my spiritual practice. A byproduct of my spiritual practice is that I am inspiring spiritual growth, abundant living, and transforming lives. You create an oasis of like-minded beings. You make it possible for me and others to be here when someone has just lost a beloved, when someone's just lost a child, when someone's grieving, when someone has committed suicide, when someone's lost a life. when someone has a joy that they want to share, that they have no one to share it with. When someone has an awakening, when someone has an epiphany, when someone has something that they're working with that is so intimate and so intense, they can't just share it with everyone or anyone. You create a space where they have someone to share it with. You create a space where they have someone to work it out with. You create a space where they have books and teachings and lessons that help them come alive to who they are. Even if it doesn't make sense to you that you could possibly have that much impact, believe me, you do. I see it every day. And I acknowledge every day the beauty of the truth that we are an inlet and an outlet of all that is God. And because you operate as that in your own nature, you are creating peace where there would be discord or harmony. You make the space when someone may learn because of their life choices or their relationship choices that they may have been born into a system, into a consciousness, into an old inherited expired belief system, that they are not somehow worthy of pure love, worthy of full acceptance because of who they love. You create a space that brings tears to their eyes and goes, oh my God, these people see me. This teaching honors me. This aligns everything in my heart that I've always known and known and known. This is what you do. And when you take this spiritual practice and you create it in your life at a deep level, you recognize that every moment, I don't know how we're going to go here, every moment, you have the opportunity to slow down enough to see these things. And when you see that interconnectedness, you realize the truth of life. You realize the abundance of life. And you become an embodiment of peace. So let us peel off the layers of the human condition that tell us we need to try to figure life out. We need to try to make it work. We need to try to create peace. And let's recognize that when we show up with a peaceful heart, when we show up with peaceful consciousness, we naturally create it. I want to close with a reading from Matt Licata. He says, slow way down. Ground awareness in your body and listen, not just to the words that someone around you might be saying when they're in chaos. He says, when they're in chaos, and if you think about addressing the world that's not in peace or someone else that's in turmoil or not in peace, he just says, slow way down. Listen not just to the words they are saying, but to the secret request that is emerging out of their hearts. While you may be burning with the need to talk them out of their experience, overflowing with solutions, techniques, and processes, return into spaciousness. Infuse the environment with pause, rest, and resonance. With the slow circuits of empathy and presence, step into the vessel and seal it with non-urgent loving kindness. Offer the gift of a soothed, calm, regulated nervous system. Turn your heart into a temple and sanctuary where together you can validate their feelings and provide safe passages for their processes to unfold. Do what you can so that they feel felt. That they need not heal in this moment in order for you to see here. Never underestimate the power of love, even for one moment. Even one moment of empathetic, attuned contact can change our lives forever. Don't forget that for many, they have never actually known this sort of holding or had it only in small amounts. You have tremendous power to be a vessel in which healing can come into this world to help another make new meaning and find new breath, to slowly dissolve the trance of unworthiness and know their true nature. That is your gift. That is a natural byproduct of how and who you are. So let us honor that peace. Namaste.